On Monday, July 15th, my brother's birthday. First, I want to suggest a couple of changes, minor changes to the agenda this evening. We have bids to open.
Two bids to open. One for a paving project and one for the Shaftsbury Hollow Road work.
Okay, I suggest we do that after the road report.
Mm-hmm.
And also, we were going to talk about communications related issue in item 10, and I wanted to repeat the information that we did last week. It wasn't broadcast about the broadband surveys that and cell surveys that we've done. So without objection, we'll do that. First up, after that, I need to check and see, does anyone have a conflict of interest with anything appearing on the agenda this evening?
Nope.
Nope. Approval of minutes. Do we have minutes to approve?
The minutes we posted, but I did not distribute to the board, so we'll have to do those in the next meeting.
Okay. Warrants? We're bound to have some of those. First I see is a retirement warrant in the amount of $10,298.88.
So moved.
Motion to approve from Tony,
Second.
second by Art. What is this? Because I'm used to, these are usually in the hundreds of dollars, aren't they?
Those are 4 of them a year. It's a retirement.
Okay.
I think when Judy was here, we had DC
That's
also,
right.
and hers were the smaller ones.
That's right. We used to have every 2 weeks we had one for Judy, but.
That's what I'm
But
remembering.
Marlene is on the same one.
Okay, all right. Any other discussion? All in favor of approving check warrant number 4, say aye.
Aye.
So check warrant number 4 in the amount of $10,298.88 is approved 500. This would be bids.
No, that's something I think is probably another solar field.
Oh, okay.
Some law firm up in Burlington.
Some mail. Next I have check warrant number 1 in the amount of $99,401.38.
So moved.
Motion to approve from Tony,
Second.
second by Art. Major items. Uh, 5,200 to Blue Cross Blue Shield, 13,000 to Bennington County.
That's the tax warrant.
Okay,
It's half of this year's tax warrant.
okay, and then 2,200 to Bennington County Shaftsbury ID District, so that's also taxes.
Mm-hmm.
1,200 to Bennington County Sheriff, 1,600 to Business Card Services,
Those envelopes, it's mostly all postal.
1,600 to FedEx,
We had to return a compressor. Unfortunately, we had to pay the shipping to return the compressor.
dang,
Yeah, that's what I said when I saw it too.
okay. 1,400 to GA Bow Fuels, 40,000 to Nortrax Equipment, I bet I know what that is, the compactor, yeah. 16,000 to Russell Construction, it must be the,
That's the last
just
Russell
about the
bill.
last of it then.
That's the last Russell bill.
Okay. For the garage. 5,300 to Vermont League of Cities and Towns.
That's the annual dues for that too.
Dues, okay. And those are items over $1,000. Any other discussion? All in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
So check warrant number 1 in the amount of $99,401.38 is approved, 500. And I have payroll warrant number 1 in the amount of $22,141.77.
So moved.
Motion to approve from Tony,
Second.
second by Art. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So payroll warrant number 1, $22,141.77 is approved 500. Any announcements? I will just acknowledge and welcome our state representative, David Durfee, is in the audience tonight. Feel free to speak up anytime. Thank you. Any public comments?
I would just like to make something, every year at town meeting, we have what we call community appropriations, where different people come, or different organizations ask for money, that sort of stuff. Well, this was in the banner, and I just thought it was worth telling everybody that John McCullough Library in North Bennington, we don't have a library, so we use North Bennington's, was one of 5 runner-ups in a new national award honoring libraries and their staff for overcoming adversity and creating lasting, innovative service programs. So they're doing good work down there. It's wonderful.
It is, and they do that on a staff of almost nothing,
Yep.
so, yeah, very good. Okay, item 7 is the treasurer's report. Melanie Dexter.
Recent public comments.
Yeah.
I slipped in public comments.
I missed it.
Yeah.
Okay, hello.
Hi.
I know.
Let's look at the cash flow first. Now, I missed the last meeting, but I gather that you did see the basically year-end stuff. We don't have the absolute last word on the actuals versus budget for the fiscal year, because some of the things you just signed are actually going to be hitting the last fiscal year. So we're going to have that number for you. We figure another couple of weeks. It's going to be so close again. It's really kind of amazing. But
Good.
we don't have the final number yet. So this is just mid-month for July. The interesting number is, if you go down to the bottom half, you see our cash in the bank right now is over $200,000. Boy, am I having to eat my words. We're doing fine. We might not even have to do a draw, maybe not even at all. If you go back up to the top, I can tell you why. There's a pretty big chunk of delinquent taxes there. The highway state aid came in today, that $39,000. The tax prebate money came in already, so all of that, plus the adjustment to the school, the final school reconciliation in the last month is what is leaving us in pretty good shape. So it looked dire in April, but it turns out that it's fine. So you guys just signed a warrant for $100,000, but a lot of that is actually not hitting the general fund. It's on some of the reserve funds. So even that is not going to hit our cash situation all that much. So I'll transfer the money. So let's see, we can go back down again. Yeah, nothing much to say. I don't show it versus budget in the mid-month anyway, but obviously it's too early to tell you much about it.
2 weeks into the year, yeah.
Yeah, right. We could look at the reserve fund sheet, though. Okay. One thing you'll notice is that it's shorter than it used to be. I got rid of some of the non-active funds, and this spreadsheet is absolutely gigantic, and it took me the best part of a day to make some of those funds go away, just because it's so huge. But so let's see, what do we have here? We've got the Class 3 road, you see down at Fund 285. That's a grant that just came in?
Yeah, that's our reimbursement
Yeah.
for some expenditures, $20,000, and we have another $37,000 and change coming in reimbursements.
Yeah, so we've been waiting for that, because I think I brought to your attention the apparent negative balance in that fund a few times, but it's really just a timing issue.
Right.
above that, you see there's some water coming in, still some water payments. And the fire reimbursement, remind me what that was. That
Fire
was-
reimbursement is through the insurance companies. For certain operations the fire department does, they're reimbursed by insurance companies. So I guess you got some money coming in from payment from that? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's 75. That one
Yeah.
was for the, that was through our insurance carrier. When the fireman was injured, he shattered his Scott pack. And that's to pay for a new Scott pack, or close to a new Scott pack. It'll probably be closer to 9,000 for that, but,
Yeah,
no,
We
I'm
went
sorry,
back
yeah,
and
that's what that
forth
check
and-
is for, yeah.
where to park that cash, but
Yeah.
that's where it ended up.
So that, does that go into the general fund, or do you give that back to the fire
We
department,
put
or-
that in the fire department's equipment fund. I told Joe, when you get the bill, we'll deduct it from there. It makes it much cleaner
Yeah, okay.
than moving it around.
Yeah, I
there's-
mean,
is there
when we-
real-
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Is there actually a fire reimbursement fund, or is that just a line
Yeah,
you add?
that's one of the, well, it's all within that 230, you can see, are all related to the fire department. So all of those are actually one fund, but they've got different line items within it, some sort of, I don't know, sub-funds. You remember that back in the old days, 210 had like 15 different funds in it, but, yeah, so 230 is everything relating to fire. I don't have anything more to say. Do you have any questions about any of this? It's so early. Very little to say.
Very good.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Road report. Michael Yanati, welcome.
How you guys doing?
We're good. How are things out there? How's that new garage? You've been in it for what, 2 days?
2 weeks, let's see. The last 2 weeks of June, we moved into the new garage. We spent the last 2 weeks of June moving stuff, and every day we seem to be reorganizing something. We're in, but we're not even close to being settled yet.
Is it really better than this one?
Yes. No question.
Okay.
For the roads, the last couple weeks, we have been moving into the garage and just doing some regular maintenance, just some grading and some ditching on Cold Spring Road. We also are helping with a project for the playground up at Howard Park. Spent a couple days up there digging for the playground. And then just planning for some, we're gonna do some under drain projects, one on West Mountain, actually 2 on West Mountain, and maybe another one in another location. We're still discussing that right now. I just ordered all the under drain for those projects, and then once we get all that situated, I'll update you so that you can post on the website and stuff when we'll be closing the road and working on those spots on West Mountain. Just ordered a bunch of culverts, so we have a long list of culverts that need to be replaced, so we're gonna tackle some of the most problematic ones. And then,
The culverts, I guess I should be embarrassed to say, I just realized that the state had a list of culverts statewide, including Shaftsbury, and lists the number of them as below standard. Is that the list you're working from, or do you?
no, just
know
a
from-
list that the guys have started
From
over
your
the
own
years.
observations, yeah.
Yeah. That's what we'll be working off from now. I think there's about, I'd like to do at least 5 or 6 of them, at least, on that list this year. I think it's doable.
What you're referring to probably is just.
This came up in the planning commission the other night, is the state does inspections of culverts.
But it would be on their road.
Yeah, so
No, all of Shaftsbury.
We just had a culvert inventory done on a grant, and it's part of the whole stormwater thing.
Okay.
So we do have a whole list.
they just haven't released it to us.
Yeah, it's just
Okay.
quite a large production.
All right, so this is.
Yeah, but I mean, it lists like 500 culverts in Shasbury.
Oh, yeah.
Of which 100 of them, they said, they listed as poor. Which,
I'm sure there is.
that's, I'm impressed that it looked like they looked at every culvert.
the stormwater
So that was
people-
something that we asked them to do on a
Yeah,
grant project.
there was a stormwater grant, it's all part of the municipal road general permit, and because we have so many hydrologically connected roads, we're getting more money to do these surveys. It was the erosion survey and the stormwater survey and the culvert inventory. They did go on literally every single road and walk and look at everything. It's quite an
Okay.
extensive list. It's and not all of it. You know, the one we did get back. It has a lot of things and really poor, but you know, it's a kind of, you can knock off a couple of these pretty quickly. They're not end of the world things, but there's some big ones out there. And we do know that list. I've discussed that list over the last 2 years too. It's like, how come we can't put a culvert in? You know, because we do need to get going on that. But it's going to take time. Like a lot of things, it's going to take time to catch up a little bit. You know, so you pick off the worst ones first, and go from there.
Yeah, so we're gonna tackle a few of them.
Probably got GPS coordinates now too, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rather than
The,
Yeah.
so many feet beyond somebody's driveway.
Yeah. Turn left by the dead tree.
that Evan Fitzgerald, they
Yeah.
did all the surveying of our town for all the hydrologically connected segments. And they literally, they have pictures and coordinates, and it's pretty,
It's already gotten us another grant.
yeah.
The Walmart settlement money we're getting is because I could just pick that up and submit it. It's like, here you go. It's already, you know, we happen to have a design from the state already for us. So they got the ranking, which was very poor for the road we're doing. We already had a design, so it's great. We have a whole arsenal to work for grants now.
So did they just replace that, Dave, or are they resizing them?
Which one? Sorry.
Any of them?
That's
When,
Talk to Mike about that.
depending on the drainage
Yeah.
situation, but most generally, yes, they will be resized.
Okay.
Because a lot of the culverts that we have under our roads are undersized anyways, already. To meet,
Don't
to meet
hurt,
the
don't
new,
hurt to make it bigger.
no, to meet the new municipal road permit. Anything under 15 to 18 inches is small, and there's some 12s under our roads and spots. Yeah.
Okay, big interruption there. I'll let
That's
you
all
keep
right.
going.
Now, another thing I just wanted to say is what you just paid for, the roller, for 40,000 to Nortrax. That is installed on the grader and has been used a few times, 4 times. Right now the roads are really dry, so we're trying to figure out how to possibly water, you know, while we're doing this too. So it's kind of a learning process with the roller, but we'll see how that goes. Seems to be working, but everything is very dry, so the compaction isn't what it should be. But I feel like in the spring, when the roads are really saturated, that thing will compact nice.
We're still using chloride, I take it.
Yes, yeah, we're chloriding after the grader is done. I don't want to run that roller through the chloride. I don't feel that's necessary. It's just a lot of money for something to have all that chloride, you know, getting into, because there's a lot of moving parts on that.
Right.
What's your policy on chloriding? Are you doing the whole roads or just in front of people's houses or
Well-
just in case I'm asked?
I really don't know.
Okay.
What do you guys want?
Well, that's, that's
Well,
why
we
we're here.
debated it, yeah.
Today, I'm sorry to interrupt, but today, those spots that you probably saw, those were just spots that he spot graded,
Yeah, right.
and I hit those ones. But what are you guys looking for us to do?
I don't know. Will chloride hold the road better? I'm just not happy with the condition of the roads. There seems to be a lot of
dust.
a lot of dust, a lot of potholes, a lot of I don't know. It's just we seem to miss that early springtime
Yeah,
because of budgets or
something.
Our money was almost gone, so we couldn't spend it on gravel and all that, and we didn't have the road. I realize there's a lot of things. You're moving
Yeah.
into a new project, all that sort of stuff, but it's going to be hard to compact a road right now.
It is very hard.
And so, I don't know, I just feel we missed it again, type of thing, so.
You gotta remember, we only had like 7 or 8 days all in May that didn't rain.
Absolutely, I agree. It's just, yeah.
Can we, because I was one of this, so can we, like, we had the question on Murphy Hill today. And it's not ideal, but we're gonna get into Cross Hill soon, there'll be a dust storm. You know,
Well,
can we just chloride without grading to try and hold it down as a suppressant?
We could try it. I mean, it's not gonna last forever.
It's
but
not gonna last
yeah.
forever, I know.
But it will
I know
help.
It's expensive.
It's
I know
expensive.
But
But we always seem to, I mean, I would rather see us use more of it, especially the new stuff, because we're saving money on the new stuff to begin with, right out of the gate. So,
We can try it.
you know, just because some of those roads, especially on that side of town, and we all know where they are, and it isn't the whole road, because there's whole stretches you could skip because nobody's living there. You know, but by some of the houses and things, it's,
But chloride keeps the dust down, that keeps the right mixture in the road base too, right? It's not just for dust in people's
No,
windows,
it's
it's
not.
part of the,
That's
part of the
my
regular
point.
road maintenance.
yeah.
I was hoping you would say it would hold the roads better, because I just don't think the roads are holding up good.
And when you see that dust cloud though, that's road going away.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
right.
So you don't wanna skip on the chloride too much.
And it's as we've gone through this every year, it's mostly on this side where you get the dustiest roads, and it's most of the material that went on that side. But
We put
I
down-
think if we did more, tried more of this new material, not the chloride, what is it called?
Magnesium
Yeah,
chloride.
magnesium
It's the same
chloride.
thing. It's just a little
Yeah.
less corrosive.
And just see if we can tamp down
We
some
put
of the
down
dust.
4,000 gallons today of it.
Yeah. But it is cheaper than the last stuff, so,
Does it work as good or?
well, we'll know as soon as we get enough of it down. It seems to so far, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went over Cross Hill Road the other day, and that wasn't. They seem to be holding pretty good. So I think it's working.
Yeah, but it's showed it's just a different compound.
It
It's
should.
the same thing, you know.
And the other thing we have two projects we put out to bid. One in Shaftsbury Hollow, and the other one is a little bit of paving. The depression on White Creek Road, we all know of, on the corner. We're settling. We're just gonna shim over top of that for this year, and we're going to rebuild Myers Road apron. It's approximately 250 feet from 7A, and we're doing what would be the North Road, so it'd be the 7A section in North Road, where that pavement's all deteriorated all the way down to the bottom of the hill. It's like 400 feet. We're gonna pave there too. The section in Shaftsbury Hollow is a section of road that's getting totally reconstructed. Some tree work, ditches, a couple culverts, a driveway culvert, and all new base, fabric base and surface material. That's what those two projects are.
The patching that you did on Buck Hill
Yep.
helped a lot. I drive that road a lot, like a lot of people do, and yeah, it was getting really bad, and it's a lot smoother.
Yeah, we did all that
Hope
by
it holds
hand.
a little while.
I think it'll hold for a while. We saw cut out all the bad stuff
Yep.
and cleaned it all up, and then we put the mix down, raked it out, and rolled it. And I think it came out pretty well for doing it by hand. We actually put down 40 ton of patch, counting that spot. So we pretty much did pothole patching around the whole town.
Did you ever work up a price for guardrail on that North Road Hill?
No, but when I was going up it today with the chloride truck, I said I need to do that because we're gonna do all the paving and everything. I was looking at it going, yep, gotta contact Lafayette and get a
You get
price.
down, you slide over that bank, the winter you wish you had it.
Yeah, no, it needs to be done.
I've been down that once or twice. It ain't fun.
In a banquet?
Definitely needs it there. But besides the bid opening, that's pretty much all I have right now.
When do you think you'll be all the way moved into the new garage?
I don't know, a year or two maybe. No, we're moved in.
We're gonna tear this one down before that.
Yeah, all of our stuff. There's some cold storage stuff that's in that building, like truck tires and some signposts and stuff. But me and Dave are gonna discuss that tomorrow. And but for the most part, all of our equipment is up there. Everything that's sitting out here is stuff that we're not really gonna use, that we can auction off or do whatever. But for the most part, we're out of there.
Okay.
I just gotta say, Tim, that I've been up to that new garage a half a dozen times. I don't think the road crew likes it because they're never there.
I told you we can start hanging out at it more.
Yeah, yeah.
Do we need an executive meeting on personnel issues?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else for Michael?
You guys see anything or anything you want us to work on?
Just
More eyes are better.
Just keep the dust down if you can.
Okay.
I realize it's tough.
It is tough.
Yeah.
We can try chloriding them and seeing what's, maybe it will help hold them together. Maybe it'll just evaporate.
Mike, when was the last time you graded the Lake Perrin Road?
Oh,
Quite a while ago.
probably the first week of June.
I just went down it the other day for the first time in a long time. It was on
Yeah,
washboard.
that one didn't hold up so well on
Yeah,
us. We had a
I was
little,
surprised.
It rained really
It-
hard and it went right to pieces. So
Yeah.
because I called you up, I thought maybe you could run the grader over it before it hardened up.
yeah, that didn't hold up so well. The other end held up,
Yes.
but that one end didn't. No, that road's next. It's on the list.
When I drove down, I just kind of said, wow. It looked like it had been done not too long ago. I said,
No, David did a really nice job
Yeah.
on it. It was kind of a shame that the rain destroyed it.
that it did.
That's about all I got.
Okay.
The bid?
Good.
You want to open up the bids?
Okay, next we are opening bids then, moving on down the agenda. So this
The one
is...
bid for, the white envelope is the one bid we received for the paving.
Mhm.
And several contractors were solicited, we got one bid. Only one person showed up on time for the on-site inspection, so those are the people who put the bid in both.
Okay, and they showed up to the inspection? Okay. So remind me what this is?
Paving.
Paving where? The ones you mentioned
North
earlier?
Road, Myers Road, and depression on White Creek Road. If you flip it open, a couple pages, there should be a spot where he filled out the for
North Road,
prices.
Myers Road, White Creek,
Yeah, right
Depression.
there.
Yep. And project bid awards consideration, it says $49,240. That looks to be the total. 49,240, yep.
49.
Do you know what you were expecting for those?
Yes,
Yes.
that's well within the parameters.
Is that what we're expecting? Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Because he was at the,
So I did a mandatory on-site meeting,
yeah,
and Bodwin was the only one that showed up.
I don't
Oh,
think
yes,
it's,
Bodwin is the one I'm reading from. I don't think I mentioned that.
normally we would give them to you or to David, just make sure that it is what we asked for. But do you feel that he knows what we want and everything else like that?
Who?
Do you need to look this over, or are you ready to,
For us to do.
are we
vote on it?
comfortable?
No, I'm.
For example, do you need to look at the tons of material that they put in to
Yeah,
see if it's...
actually, I'll take a look at it quick.
We're just trying to decide if we want to approve it now or give you time to look at it.
No, that looks good to me.
Because we made one adjustment, right, or he suggested an adjustment, what did you tell me it was, the White Creek email, or the type?
I put the wrong type on the,
Oh, okay.
the wrong thickness on here, and I made an adjustment to his
You
sheet.
made it, okay.
So that was it.
Oh, okay.
It was a typo that I had on there. Yeah, that's all. No, from my quantities that he's got, we're right there.
Okay, all right. So is there a motion to
As long
award?
as Dave's happy with the number.
No, financially, it's where I was aiming at, so.
So is there a motion to award paving projects on North Road, Myers Road, and White Creek to Bodwin for the amount of $49,240?
So moved.
Moved by Tony,
Second.
second by Art. Discussion? All in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
So that one is approved.
Just so the board knows, that'll be one, there'll be a lot of information going out, because when we close
After
North
you're gonna
Road, we
close the
close,
road.
the end of Myers. There'll be
Okay.
a lot of notification on that.
And what we're doing is we're gonna rip up all the old asphalt on those, both Myers and North Road, and start right over. We're gonna excavate them, and if we have to add some material to help the base, we will. So the town, our crew is gonna do quite a bit of work on those projects.
Okay.
The White Creek one, I'm gonna try to get them to do like ASAP. I wanna get that done.
Didn't you say they're gonna dig out first,
We're gonna,
or just patch over?
the one on White Creek, we're just going to, we're gonna mill the start and finish. So you know how when you're driving in the bump? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna key in the asphalt so that we're not creating a bump.
Okay,
And so the plows don't catch on it.
yeah.
So we're just gonna mill in the start and the finish, and there's a little bit of milling on the center line. And then they'll just pave over it, and we'll wish it well for now.
Has the state come up with a fix for that yet?
They're still working on it.
Have they bored yet?
No.
Did you happen to talk to Lionel about the grader, the big grader?
No, I haven't.
Probably should decide that before we put the other one up for sale or something. Okay.
Yes.
All right. And we have
That one, yeah.
another bid to open for Shaftsbury road projects.
That's the section from the hideaway, 720 feet up.
Yep.
That went all bad last year. Yeah, and again, this is one where Mike solicited 6 excavators. It was advertised. One chose not to even take the bid forms because he was too busy, and Mr. Weaver was the only one who came to the on-site inspection.
Okay. And this bid is from Weaver Excavating. And the total is $97,000. And the scope of work is in another
It's on the
document apparently?
very back.
Okay.
It's a pretty long description.
Was this a grant?
No, this is straight out of us.
Straight out of us?
Yeah.
Okay. Again, the question is, what were you expecting?
I think we need to discuss
I see that.
this one.
Okay.
I think that is more than I was expecting. I think under our purchasing policies, we have the ability to discuss the issue with the bidder, and I would think that we should allow Mike and Mr. Weaver to discuss the bid and myself, and we'll see what we can do with it, or talk to, I don't know if this is the appropriate place to do it, but talk to Craig and see what all the factors were and what it all went into the bid itself.
Yeah, I'd be willing to sit down with
Yeah,
Mike.
maybe the 3 of us can sit down and just
Yeah.
discuss it. As a sole bidder, and it is allowed for us to discuss it with the bidder, I think that's what we'll have to do with this one.
Yeah, I recommend that discussion happen offline.
Yeah, because there is,
Sounds like you could get into
Yeah.
technical details.
because there's no grant, this is comes right out.
This is right out of our Class 3 road fund.
Okay.
That's, that's all spec'd out for what you're doing?
Yeah. This was, the state actually provided all the details for this project, so. You added a couple of culverts or something?
One culvert.
One culvert to it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the state did this for us, so, but it is all Class 3 road funds. And that would be,
A big chunk
all
of
of
it.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, well, let's, the 3 of us
We'll
have a
sit down.
discussion on it, yeah.
okay, all right. That takes care of bid openings. Any other road issues we want to talk about?
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Michael.
guys.
Thanks, Bud.
Like, sit down with Craig.
Pass that down to Dave.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple of communications issues I wanted to to bring up this, this one I kind of got excited about. My enthusiasm is dampened a little bit since I found out it's not something we can do right away, but part of the new broadband bill that was recently passed had mentioned something about 2G microcells, that the state should make them available for towns to use or maintain, use or own. I talked to Corey Chase at Public Service, and he explained what it is the state has like 200 of these 2G microcells sitting in a warehouse somewhere gathering dust. They had a plan to deploy them at one time into areas that don't get cell service. They had a service provider that was helping them work this problem, and then that service provider decided it wasn't economical for them anymore, so it's not happening. So what they're doing is they're looking to see if towns have any use for these, if they can get enough interest in them. They'll try to put out an RFP and see if they can get somebody to service these again. What they are, there are short-range essentially cell towers that cover about a quarter-mile radius from where they're positioned. They are 2G, which is old technology. You know, you're hearing about 5G nowadays. But what they provide is voice and text. They don't provide data. So I started asking around to see if we had any use for these. Certainly they're not the kind of thing that would, we would deploy every, quarter mile through the hollow to try and solve the cell service problem out there. But talking to Joe Vatican, our fire chief, he said the cell service is very spotty at the firehouse. And talking to Jeff Johnson at the school right next door, he said the cell service is very spotty at the school. Well, there's our fire service, our firehouse right there, and our emergency shelter right there. And you can think of all kinds of reasons why firemen and people in emergency shelters would want to be able to use their cell phones to communicate with people and say, I'm at a fire, I can't pick up the kids, or I'm alive in the emergency shelter kind of stuff. So it's something that we could use. The cost is fairly nominal. It would cost the town supposedly $1,800 a year if we were able to get one of these installed. But talking to Corey about it, it seems, like I say, it's not like we can order one, because I was ready to order one based on, just put one over there. But it's the kind of thing where I have communicated to Public Service that we are interested in buying them. If enough towns are interested in providing that money or finding someone that will provide that money, maybe the program will get spun up again. So
how did you come up with 26 microcell towers? That's what we need, or that's?
Oh, I just pulled that number out of the air. I was just, I was just saying the whole Shaftsbury Hollow. These things only cover a quarter-mile radius. So, you'd have to have one, I guess, every half mile or less with some
And then
overlaps.
they communicate with an existing network.
Yes, they are fully functional cell towers. They're just only voice and text and short range.
So would the present provider be able to hook into that 2G?
Some company would say they'll agree to operate these things, and then they would operate just like any other cell tower, and people would communicate through them and be able to get, I presume, to any carrier. They're meant to access all carriers.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not supposed to be carrier specific.
At some point, is 2G going to be phased out?
I think it's long gone. It's just
gone.
this is kind of for whatever reason the state has a bunch of these and they're trying to find a use for them.
All right.
And if we could have got one, it would have helped us in our situation, but it remains to be seen if enough towns will say they want them to cause something to happen.
Does anybody know what the cell coverage is at the north firehouse, or other firehouse? Is that?
I
The closer
wasn't told that from Joe, but I did drive by there, so we could pull up the maps.
The closer you get to Arlington, the worse it gets.
Okay.
Death Valley.
Arlington almost has nothing.
Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah, I haven't analyzed the data there specifically, but we have that data, so
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, maybe we need one there too. So.
Do these work with every cell company, or is
That's my understanding, yeah. They're meant to be essentially kind of a relay. Although it was pointed out they're a fully functioning cell tower, but they're not, I don't believe they're meant to be carrier specific. The carrier that, the service provider that was operating them before was not a major cell carrier. It was some little company, Banyu something, I can't remember what it was.
So these micro towers basically just boost an existing signal to carry it further.
I think that's a good way to think of it. When I talked to Corey, he said, no, they're not a repeater. They're a fully functioning cell tower. So they're hooked into the network by DSL, and so they function as an independent tower. They're not picking up a wireless signal to repeat it. They are hooked into DSL and get to the backbone that way, I guess. That's the way to think of it.
I guess I'd like to ask Dave, you know, is this on the agenda of legislatures to come up with more money or more things? Or, I mean, it's a big problem.
You're talking about, sorry, I stepped out for a minute there, but
Just
about cell coverage.
Cell coverage,
As opposed
yes.
to broadband, yeah. I think that it's on people's minds. I think it's also understood that the expense is astronomical.
Yeah.
But the broadband and cell affect enough people in rural areas, and there are enough legislators that, yeah, I think it's something that is definitely, there's awareness of it. I've heard Corey say very positive things about what Shaftsbury is doing. I'll just insert here. Tim's taken a real proactive stance, obviously, and so Shaftsbury is on the map. And you know, the program that you're referring to, again, I'm sorry, I walked in the beginning, or you'd already started, so I walked in the middle, but I'm not familiar with that particular program.
Yeah, I was explaining earlier, there's the state has a surplus of these 2G microcells that they're trying to find out if towns have a use for, and polling our town, we found that we could use one at our firehouse here, maybe the other one, to provide better coverage for firemen who are, you know, covering fires and want to let their wives know that they won't be picking up the kids. And also at the school right next door, which is our emergency shelter, cell phone coverage is spotty, and we were saying in an emergency it would be nice if people who are in the shelter could call and say we're alive in the shelter, kind of thing. So
I mean, I've also heard that you know, there are places even on 7A, the main roads of town, that don't have
Oh, yes.
yes.
not only cell service but cable. You know, they won't string cable into homes, and it's because it's federally regulated. The town's hands are tied and the state's hands are tied.
I've been talking to real estate agents, they're losing sales because people want to come up here from Connecticut, live in rural Vermont, but they have to work at home.
It really is
They
a
lose-
loss, economic loss to the state.
They lose sales.
Right, it's one thing to be cell-free for a weekend or get disconnected and not have to, you know, worry about checking into the office, but that's different.
That's right.
Yeah, huge difference, yep.
So the other thing I wanted to talk about communication related was to repeat something we went over last week. We were not broadcasting last week, so that did get onto YouTube, but for the people who might be tuning in by cable TV, I wanted to go through two things. We've done a couple of things working on our communications issues here. We had the internet survey where we polled people to find out what their situation was relative to internet, and we used equipment from the Public Service Department to analyze, to actually measure cell coverage. Broadband was what our survey, broadband to the home is what our survey was about. Cell coverage, we measured it on every road in town, and I wanted to present a little bit of results from that. And the first one here requires a little bit of explanation, but the red lines on it, this is a map of Shaftsbury. I don't have road names, but you can probably pattern match your way around town pretty well. The red lines are where Comcast has cable run. And then the triangles are responses from our survey of people in town that indicated they are underserved for internet, that they're not happy with their internet service at their home. And as we strongly suspected, those two sets are non-overlapping, that people who are not happy with their internet service are people who don't get Comcast cable. It really comes down to that. But I did want to point out this area here on Rod and Gun Club Road. There's quite several people here that mentioned that they're not happy, and I'm going to get to why I wanted to point that out. So that's broadband internet service to the home we're talking about now. Now the other thing we did was we mapped cell coverage using the equipment that Corey Chase at Public Service had, and we drove every road in town. So we've got cell coverage measured in as download speed, which is an indication of signal strength throughout town. And we have it for all the major carriers, and what I'm showing here is one carrier, which is VTEL, and that's significant because VTEL has uses that same signal to provide internet to the home. But just in terms of getting oriented here, so this is me driving around, and this equipment is measuring cell strength along the road. So red means nothing, Shaftsbury Hollow. And then yellow is better, medium, and then the green, which you don't see very much of, is high signal strength. And again, that takes me back here to Rod and Gun Club Road, where we've got these people who indicate they're not getting good cell coverage, they're not getting Comcast cable, but they're one of the few areas in town that are showing high signal strength from the VTEL signal. And I bring that up hoping maybe some of them are watching at home. If you are, call VTEL and have them come out and check you to see if you can get a good signal there. What I was measuring on the road for my car, this is measured in download speed, and so this green is 10 to 23 megabits per second, which is a pretty decent connection. So if people out here are not happy that they can't get Comcast, they're in good shape probably to get a VTEL signal. I believe the VTEL tower is right up here right up here on Buck Hill.
And they're high.
Yeah, and it's up high, and you can see it doesn't go very far in terms of the highest quality of the signal. But people along here could probably use it. People where it's yellow could probably get something acceptable. I can tell you, I know Mike Foley on our planning commission lives
Mike Foley, yeah.
way up here. I believe this is Timber Trail. He's got a yellow signal there. He uses VTEL. He says it's okay. It's not great. So most of these it's not great, but some of these maybe where you see yellow next to green might be that you're getting close to something that would be an acceptable cell signal. Cell signal that can be used to get broadband internet speeds into the home. There's one other one here. I don't think it shows any new information. Yeah, no, that was it. So that's what I wanted to mention while we were online. We are still compiling this information, and we'll be putting it on the website so people can do this kind of analysis with VTEL and also the other carriers and decide, if you're thinking about changing carriers, whether or not you get a good signal at your house is probably a major consideration for which carrier you pick. So that will be coming forward soon. Any questions about that?
Well, they're talking more about 5G, and they're hoping that the large companies pick up on it because they know that it would stimulate purchasing, commerce.
Yeah, 5G is champagne for people who already have caviar.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5G is not going to solve our problem. 5G is a short-range, high bandwidth signal so that you can walk around on your phone and stream 4K movies, which is a silly thing to do, but so that you can do that. But 5G doesn't broadcast very far, and it has to attach to fiber.
Okay.
So we don't have fiber, so 5G is not going to solve our problem.
We're luckily electricity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I know it's extremely expensive for Garlic Fest. They're setting up 5G so that the vendors have.
Oh, really?
Yes.
And they're making it open to the public so that they can sign on to it, and it's ungodly expensive just for the weekend.
Well, what's the approximate, do you know?
But
The approximate expense?
I don't know. And the surprising thing was, I thought just one little tower would handle it. They have to put them throughout the parking lot and everything else.
Wow.
Right.
It's quite the production.
So I guess the broadband bill, it went into effect July 1, right? So,
Yeah, so that's going to open up, the state's going to be hiring a technical specialist, which may take a little bit of time. I was told that towns might want to just wait a few months.
okay, that was going to be my question.
Yeah, but that, and that there will be then a person in place who will be a resource and can speak directly to these issues and say, here's what Shaftsbury could do if it wants to partner with a private provider of some sort. There's a certain amount of money available, grant funding to pilot something. There's loan money available at low rates, but I think the starting point would be talking to this individual when he or she is hired.
Yeah, this kind of thing gets talked about a lot in the RED group, the Regional Economic Development Group, and it's generally recognized that solving the broadband problem in any significant way is not going to be something Shaftsbury does. It's going to be a regional issue because all of southern Vermont, all of Vermont has the same issue. But this broadband bill does make it easier to do things like have already happened with EC Fiber in central Vermont, where they have spun up a company by local effort largely and are laying fiber to people's homes in rural areas. Something like that, could happen here easier now thanks to the broadband bill, which addresses a lot of the issues that the people at EC Fiber ran into with trying to get access to poles so they can run their fiber, trying to get access to capital, an important part of the loans that are available in the broadband bill have a 2-year grace period where you can spin up, get your company up, get revenue coming in before you have to pay back the loans, that kind of thing. Okay.
All righty.
Any other business?
Dave, have you heard anything in Montpelier in regard to having them back off a little bit on these car inspections? They are getting totally over the edge.
The new, the transportation bill this year did make some changes, and if I understand correctly, I'm not sure it's backing off or not, just because I'm not sure what was in place before, but cars that are 15 years old.
Oh, I know that, but I mean, it's not just cars. they had to physically take a picture of my boat trailer and check it for air brakes. Now, come on. And send the picture to Montpelier, and it cost me $40 to get a goddamn boat trailer inspected.
So that's new, is that new or has that been the case for?
It goes along with, yeah, that's, I think that, yeah, that's part of the new stuff. And it's, you know, like the guy that did the inspection, it says, it's totally ridiculous.
So they take a picture and then do you have to wait 24 hours for somebody to?
No, they do it right that day, but apparently they take a picture with the computer
Yeah.
and they have to send it to Montpelier
Huh.
or somewhere. And, I mean, it's just ridiculous.
I hadn't heard that, so that's good to know, and I'll,
It's not just boat trailers, it's, I mean, anything.
yeah.
It's like these guys have been drawing these rules up, they haven't got a clue if it's a wheelbarrow or what it is. You know, and it's cost people money and aggravation.
I had my car inspected in June, and it didn't pass because of the catalytic converter, and so that needed to be replaced. If the car had been a year older, it might have passed, but really the catalytic converter really did need, they showed it to me afterwards, it was completely.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not just that, it's like a little bit of rust in the car too. It's totally out of hand.
Well, I know in New York State, you see the boxes on pickup trucks flapping in the breeze.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah, I
totally
mean,
acceptable.
Safety
Yep.
is one thing,
Yeah.
but I mean, like I say, it's just an extra expense that a lot of people in the state don't have the money to pay for.
I had not heard that, and I wasn't thinking about boat trailers at all.
Well, you know, I mean, it's all part of a whole program,
Yeah.
you know?
You
These
practically
guys
pay
is,
as much for your boat inspection as you would for your car inspection, almost.
yeah.
Cars are 50 or 55, I think.
Something
I
like that.
mean-
It's only gonna use the boat trailer, what?
You gotta, you know, you got
Maybe
brake
1,000
lights,
times.
turn signals,
Yeah.
you got no brakes on the trailer, and you got, whether your taillights work.
Yeah.
And come on, that's $40.
Seems disproportionately high.
You know, these guys have these mechanics, they know what the hell they're doing. Why do they have to go pray to the gods in Montpelier? They ought to be able to,
I don't have a good answer for that one.
you know,
It's a good
I mean, they know what they're doing, they ought to be able to have the confidence in them to do it.
Yeah.
They got a license to do it.
So was that new, and was that new this year, didn't you think, Ken, or was that?
Well,
been going on?
no, I've had that boat 2 years, it's been at least 2 years,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, if there's no other business. Reviewing action items, going back to previous ones, our effort to consolidate some left behind, forgotten reserve funds, I believe that's at the attorney now, getting worked up
Get a
to,
little more information from the trustee she asked for,
yep.
and then
But
it's
that-
moving along.
That will happen by court order, we hope.
Yeah, hopefully it can be settled out pretty easily. That's what we're aiming at.
So that is working. Last week, Pete Levine,
Levine.
was complaining they had a spike in his water bill. His meter has been retested. It passed a test again. I think we're going to have to meet as a water board with the superintendent and discuss what, if anything, we're going to do about that. When is our next water board due?
Wouldn't normally be till September, but I think they're gonna start writing the RFPs for someone to take over the water system. So we're probably gonna have to have more than the usual number coming into the fall. So we have to get that out in the fall for someone.
Okay, good.
So probably, I'm not gonna be here the beginning of August, so probably the beginning of September, we'll have the next one.
Okay. And then tonight, the only one I caught was that Mike and Dave are going to sit down and go through that bid from Weaver and see if,
We have a meeting tomorrow morning, I just found out, so.
okay,
Is that gotta come back before the board again?
Oh, yeah, no, it has to come back.
okay.
We just want to go over, the
see why that was
details.
so
It was
high.
spec by the state, so, you know, it's just a lot of details, and let's see where,
Yeah, that
See where
seems
it
really
comes in.
high, because that's our annual budget for class 3 roads by
yeah. I mean,
more,
it's
yeah.
a big project, like, we have to see the details.
See what's up, yeah, okay. All right, anything else? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Tony, Art, all in favor?
Uh,
Aye.
We stand adjourned.